Cheers.
Cheers.
Caitlin, how are you? How's everything? What are you drinking there?
I'm good. I'm drinking a glass of Chardonnay. I
Okay,
used
white
to not
wine.
like white wine at all.
Hmm.
And I still would prefer with this cold red wine. But I guess we're really getting into it. Sorry, I don't have a voice, which is also related to this. Because I had Corona and am still dealing with all
No
the fucking
way.
fallout,
Uh-huh.
I keep losing my voice when I drink, which is beautiful. I didn't even go out last night, so it's like, come on, body, leave
Right,
me
right,
alone.
right.
But then on top of that, when I was in LA, I kind of, because it was warm all the time, learned to appreciate white wine a little more because my
Yeah.
family is very red or die, sometimes rosé. So I started drinking white a little more. But then on top of that, with the Corona stuff, there's a diet of what you can and can't eat or drink that will make symptoms worse. And red wine is no, no, no. So I literally can't drink red anymore.
Well, they say it's good for your heart, no?
Yeah, but
That's what
not
I've
for
heard. I feel like
Corona.
everyone kind of has their
Yeah.
their health situation that they follow. Wait, you're from LA or you're from New York, right?
No, so I'm from New York. First, before we do this, I'm gonna get my interviewer hat on and ask you what you're drinking. So it's not
Well,
just all me.
we're good. I mean, this is an authentic first date,
Yeah.
but it looks like
Yeah.
I'm
Water.
drinking a glass full of vodka,
Yeah.
but it's water.
It's
Uh,
water. No, it looks like
I'm,
water to
I'm
me.
just hanging today. I don't really drink too much wine, and when I
Huh.
when I do drink, I'll drink a vodka soda. Just pretty boring.
Wow, I'm so the opposite. If I'm gonna drink, it's gonna be wine because I like the taste. And then
Uh-huh.
if I'm doing hard alcohol, it's because I'm out with my friends getting
Right,
wasted, which I
right, right, right.
basically haven't done in 2020. Maybe for my one friend's birthday. My
Uh-huh.
friend Mira had a roof thing in Brooklyn at her brother has a full-on roof in
Was
Brooklyn.
Mira being safe or what?
Yes, yes,
What's
yes, yes.
outdoor party less than 10,
Outdoor
I'm
party. It was
sure.
in
Okay.
October. It was before the second wave really got
Okay.
underway. But
Okay.
but
Okay.
yeah, it wasn't unsafe, but we did take shots and whew, they hit me.
I want to be pretty honest with you. I
Yeah.
usually take shots
Mhm.
before dates.
A
First date.
date? Oh,
I did not take a shot. I
you just felt
typically
so comfortable,
I
guys.
typically smoke
Yeah.
weed before the date, which I
Oh my
did
God.
do, but
You're
shots
so I didn't do
are a
nothing.
must. But yeah, I just wanted to get into my
Wow.
authentic self, I guess here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay,
That's
wait, but
so funny.
you grew up in New York?
Yes, I grew
And
up
I
in New
saw we
York.
have so many mutual friends, and
We do.
you're in the area on this dating app. So
I
just so
know,
you
which is so
know.
creepy, but that's a whole other conversation that we can or can't get into.
Go ahead.
What was I gonna say? Yes. So I'm from New York City originally, born and raised on the Upper West Side. Upper West is the best. Fuck the rest. You know how it
But
goes. All that
like
stuff.
Gossip Girl or what?
That's Upper East. Teddy.
I was a downtown kid, so
I
I
know
didn't know
you had a whole
anything about
different
that life.
flow. We
Yeah,
stand that though. Downtown kids are always the coolest ones who get
for
shit until we all
sure.
realize they're the coolest ones,
You know what? And also growing
Yeah.
up on the Upper East and West Side, even in the
Mm.
show Gossip Girl, they showed
Yeah.
kids almost end up in rehab half the
Yeah.
time up there, and then the downtown kids are usually have
They're
normal
just
lives.
chilling. You
Yeah.
know what it is? I think there's a literal actually this is so untrue because some of the kids who were drinking early on got really fucked up. But I think the more casual your parents and people surrounding you approach drinking,
Yeah.
oftentimes, not every time, there's an exception to every rule, believe me, but oftentimes the more chill the kid will be in terms of not becoming an alcoholic or having addiction issues, just because it's so normal. And
Yeah.
growing up downtown, you're a bit more exposed to it versus the Upper East and West Sides are a bit more I don't know, a little more
Well,
old school, a little
I feel
older
like
vibes.
growing
Yeah.
up on downtown, I used
You
to
see some
compared to
shit.
my but also compared to my
Oh,
uptown friends, I used to notice that when I went to
yeah.
my downtown friends houses, their parents were usually much more involved. I don't want to say that uptown kids'
Interesting.
parents were not around as much, but they definitely weren't. Maybe it was because
You're but they
they
were,
did.
I don't want to say
No,
it, but
no,
they
but I think
definitely
I'm
were.
right. Just because, if growing
Yeah.
up downtown in the early 2000s, let's say
Mhm.
the apartments were probably less expensive than the Upper East and Upper West Side, right?
Definitely.
So like these Upper West Side and Upper East Side parents are probably all bankers or working in finance, or they're old and they've
Good
had
save.
money for a long time.
Also, I like your hat. I literally just noticed your
hat. It? Okay, we're getting you one for sure.
Oh my God.
I know vaguely where you live, so we'll do a drop off. Since you
He's
had
like,
Corona.
I see you on Hinge or Raya, so I kind of know where you live.
Wait,
FYI.
What? FYI, go.
No, I was saying I was being you, but
no, and also I wanted to talk about your Corona experience.
Well, first I want to respond to the whole parents thing.
Oh,
because,
okay.
I actually thought.
I didn't know that I hit a nerve.
I know. Oh no, you didn't hit a nerve. My parents were perfectly involved and in some ways uninvolved, but that's a little deeper of a story, but mostly involved.
Well, we'll get into it. What do you mean deeper? Go ahead.
Well, I talk about this on my podcast, but my mom is bipolar, so sometimes she was like literally hospitalized or away because of that. But on the whole, they were very involved. My dad was a banker at Merrill Lynch at the time, but he went above and beyond. I did have a babysitter, which is a stereotype, but she was the shit. And she gave me my personality. Sophia, bless your heart. Like,
when did you start having
a babysitter?
Yeah,
that's a good question.
Like how long? Well, how long? Oh, she was in your life since you were 3. So
and then she stopped working for my family when I was like in college. She was doing like some cleanup stuff for a bit, but that's not really like her jam. Like she'll do it, but it's not like her main interest. Anyway, so I was going to say is I do think there's a distinction between Upper East and Upper West Side parents.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
Yes, I think you're kind of grouping us all together, but the Upper West Side is notoriously A, Jewish, B, like a little more hippy dippy like vibes. Like everyone's like a little more like, I'm trying to think of like, they shop at the Strand. You know what I mean? Like they get their coffee at like an off-kilter place that like brews in the Hudson Valley and have houses in the Hudson Valley instead of
fair
in the Hamptons. So like it's just a little different vibes. Like I mean, I went to school on the Upper East Side. I have a bunch of friends from the Upper East Side, so I'm very aware like and familiar with the Gossip Girl vibes. But I don't think like the Upper West Side really is quite, I mean, it depends on the family. It's the same thing there's also like areas of the Upper East Side that like honestly aren't very nice and like are pretty affordable. So it's all just like, we can make these stereotypes, but it's to each his own, really.
Right. Well, I think I meant Upper East Side and Upper West Side when thinking about where the
compared to downtown
located.
Yeah.
Also compared to downtown.
Well, where did you grow up downtown?
There was like a handful of schools downtown, so I guess there was like less chance of the kids, fully
being
growing
douches.
up to be messed up. Yeah. I grew up like near Stuyvesant Square Park. Do you know where that is? Like 18th between 2nd and 3rd area.
Yes. Got it. Is that technically like Lower
That's exactly
East?
where I grew up. No, that's like Gramercy area, not like right next to Gramercy Park, but like pretty close to it.
Gramercy's so nice though. Gramercy's
it's gotten insanely nice. Like in the past like 15, 20 years. So I grew up there. I spent like my whole childhood there. And then, as everyone listening knows, but like this is a first date, so like I have to act coy and nobody's like listening to this.
Yeah, no one's here.
Yeah, no one's listening. It's just us.
No one's here.
But I went to Friends Seminary from kindergarten through 8th grade. And then,
I almost went to Friends for a second.
Oh, really?
But then didn't. Yeah.
Okay, so I like in probably 6th grade, I needed to make the decision between if I wanted to keep playing baseball or I wanted to like play tennis seriously.
Ooh,
so, like,
did you pick tennis?
Like, yeah. So
good for you.
I picked tennis.
Tennis is hotter.
Yeah.
I would have totally ended the date if you said baseball, right? Like
it's a little bit slower.
It's not even that. It's just like, I actually dated a baseball guy at one point. This is going to sound so bad. Watch me get canceled for this, of all things. Like not having Corona and like making light of it, but this in particular. There's something just like my like pussy dries up a little bit if I hear about like golf, baseball. I'm trying to think of like mostly golf and baseball, honestly. There's some other ones.
What, like NASCAR or maybe like the speeding
No,
cars?
NASCAR is kind of hot. Like,
Right.
yeah, like
I
let's
can
like
see
almost
that.
die in a car.
Like Lewis Hamilton, Formula One. Yeah, driving that car 300 miles an hour.
I don't know any drivers, but I was watching Married at First Sight because I'm just like on a trash TV binge. And they do NASCARs. Like, I would like to do that. I'm kind of like an adrenaline junkie, so that sounds fun to me. But yeah, I'm glad you picked tennis. Tennis has its own slew of things you can make fun of, like the fact that it's like a rich kid sport, but it's still like it's a very smart game, is what I would say. There's a lot of intelligence that goes into it because you kind of have to.
It's more. I would say it's more mental than a lot of sports. Maybe not as mental as like golf, because like every shot matters.
Well, golf is like literally, I think of like Trump and like old annoying white men. So like golf isn't really hot to me. Or if Tiger Woods, who's like a serial sex addict cheater. Like either way, just like not a great association in my mind. Also, my ex who cheated on me played a lot of golf, and it always bored me.
Right.
Yeah. So annoying. Like fuck
You're
golf.
Like, is he actually out there playing 18 holes?
Yeah, I'm like, is he or is he getting in 18 holes? Well, like unclear. Unclear.
There you go, like a true Tiger Woods fan.
Like a true Tiger Woods
fan.
So
before my childhood sounds so normal and such, I like told you I played tennis.
You're like, it wasn't.
Yeah. So I went to Friends Seminary, kindergarten through 8th grade, and then like I had to make the choice if I was going to go to Dwight, which is like a school in the Upper West Side, which or go or be homeschooled for the year to like pursue tennis for the year. So I decided I wanted to be homeschooled, and I was homeschooled for a full year for tennis for 9th grade. And then so I could travel and whatever, but like, I don't know. It was a crazy thing. Like looking back on it, that like my parents didn't let me do it. It was lonely, and like being a freshman in high school.
That's hard.
Being a freshman in high school, like everyone was making fun of me, like every chance to get like, oh, do you have friends or this or that? So I was privately tutored. And then 10th grade, I went to professional children's school.
Yes, I remember you telling me that.
Columbus Circle.
Yeah. Well, that's like right near where I grew up. Like I was on 69th Central Park West.
Right. So like,
I got a lot of like crude jokes about that growing up. So yeah.
That was like way more so normal, but even still, like that was not even a normal high school, just because like everyone was models, singers, dancers, actors,
and they were like probably not there half the time because they're like auditioning and like but see, it's so funny because the grass is always greener, because like I remember I was so jealous growing up because my parents like wouldn't let me audition, wouldn't let me like pursue this because they're like, you need to focus on school, which in retrospect, like I think there could have been like a happy medium, but I am glad like auditioning can eat your soul, like having done it in LA for 4 years. And I think if I'd been putting so many eggs in that basket and like not filling out my education the way I really did, like I think I would have regretted it a bit, because I did do really well in school and I did like love school, and that's like something you don't get back.
You seem nerdy a little bit. You seem smart.
Oh, totally. But that's what I was gonna say.
I was listening to your podcast. Yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, she's very smart. She asks great questions.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, oh, like cool, he plays tennis, that's smart. And then like he like was homeschooled, so like that's a little weird. Traumatic in like a nerdy way.
Yeah, I say it was a lot traumatic because I played.
It was a lot of it.
But I played so much tennis to the point where I was like, okay, I want to go pro, and like I just really never even got like good enough. Whether that was
you look like a tennis player, like you look like a hot tennis player. That's why I matched with you.
Thank you. Whether I didn't play enough, or training was right, or I didn't start early enough, which I think is like a big thing. I don't want to, blame myself at all, because like it was a great experience, but tennis is such a different game. Like if you don't start to play tennis seriously, like before the age of 12, it's like, forget about it. And I started playing competitively when I was like, 15. So
wait,
it was like,
this is so random, but funny. Like, do you know who Hannah Berner is? The comedian?
Yeah. So right
before. She always talks about tennis. So like I weirdly know a lot about the tennis world from listening to her podcast. I don't even know her. I mean, I know like everyone around her. So it's a matter of time. I'm like ready to know her. I always joke I discovered her because I like followed her before she had a following. But anyways, her podcast, Bernie in Hell, she always like compares like her experiences in certain things and like links them back to her tennis stuff because it was so intense.
Yeah, she played a ton.
She almost went pro, but like just didn't. I don't know.
It's super tough. So she was supposed to do like I was hosting a show back in like March 13th was the date of the show.
Oh my God, how tragic. Where was it
like
gonna be?
I had an amazing lineup, like 8 sick comedians.
Wait, where was it?
Like, I had to cancel it. So there was like a vacant space down in my building, and we were gonna do like a show there. It was gonna be amazing, but then I called it off just because like that was when the world was going nuts.
Yeah.
So wait, okay, so your podcast, how did you like why did you start it? And also like what's your favorite episode? I've listened to a couple.
Oh my God.
A couple and a half.
So many people, a couple and a half, I love it. So many people ask me that. It's so hard. This is actually my first like podcast interview, which is funny.
Oh, hey, well, this is an interview, this is a date. But
you're taking my podcast interview virginity.
That's what I'm talking about.
We're on Zoom, but he just took my virginity.
There you go. Hey, you know what? I'm a nice guy.
I'm really like giving it up pretty early, but no, so basically I went to LA, just to backtrack a little bit, because I went to Northwestern and studied theater there and psychology, which kind of like lines up nicely as a podcaster because you kind of need both of those things a bit. Sure. I would say. Anyways, so I was there for theater, and like I ended up interning in LA going into my senior year and working at 2 production companies doing kind of like development stuff. And I was just like, if I don't try acting, like I'm going to kick myself for the rest of my life, because it's always been my passion. It's always been my thing. And like, I would hear them talking about these other like little blonde bitches, like playing these roles. I'm like, God, they're not even that good. I could do better. Like I'm smarter than them, which is maybe super egotistical, but that's just how I felt. So I was like, you know what, if it means this much to me, if my parents are like kind and, you know, I'm fortunate enough that they can support me through it to an extent. I still had a part-time job, which is a whole other story, but I was like, I might as well do the thing, go out to LA, like try to, you know, act. So I did it. I got a fair amount of roles. I was in a Kygo music video, random flex, like weird flex, but okay. It was actually really fun. Sarah Baba directed it, who I have some of her art in my house. My voice is also usually low, but not this low. Like just when
it's raspy. Well,
it's raspy.
It's like Corona-y, right?
Yeah, it's a little like I drank and my throat is like totally destroyed.
Wait, can you taste?
Yeah. That's the only one I didn't get. I got all the other ones except for taste and smell, which is honestly a blessing, but also like a curse, because like
hey, what are you thinking?
Well, you can either get skinny or fat from Corona. And of course, my body's like, let's go for fat.
Wait, how can you get fat?
Okay, so it's not actual fat, to be fair. It's inflammation of the body.
Oh, right.
So it's basically like your muscles are like on fire and you have all this water weight and your body's holding on to it because it's like, what the fuck's going on? So I have that, and they thought I might have heart failure. So I had to go to a cardiologist. Yeah, like I'm like 3 times outside the normal range for swelling. So like my feet hurt. Like I feel like I'm pregnant and I'm not.
How long
like,
have you had
I haven't even been having sex. Like
how long have you had this for though?
So I got Corona like so like 4 or 5 weeks, 5 weeks almost. Okay. It's been rough.
Right,
it has not been fun.
How did it first, and like it first started and it was bad for a week?
It was horrible the first week. I had a 104 fever for like 3 days in a row. I was hallucinating from it. I was alone.
That's fun.
Yeah, this is actually the first time I'm talking about publicly, which is interesting because all I showed on Instagram, which I got some flack for, which I'm like, fuck all y'all. But I basically like made a joke about it because I was hooking up with the guy and I found out he had it. So I like made this like TikTok to the song Sledgehammer.
What's that? What's
my Fifth Harmony? It's like, you could feel my heartbeat now. I can't like sing right now. I normally can. But basically it's like, I feel the fever and I won't lie. And so I was like doing this whole thing, like getting ready to like get tested. And I thought it was fucking hilarious. And people are like, you know, people die from this. I'm like, you know, I'm about to get this, right?
Right.
And then it was horrible. So either it was karma or like just coincidence, who knows? But I really didn't think it was that bad to make the best of a bad situation, but everyone's so on edge right now. It's like crazy. Anyways, then I had a week of horrible symptoms. I had every symptom, including shortness of breath, all of that, for 7 days straight, was in and out of sleep, was like kind of dying. It was interesting because like I knew I wasn't gonna die because like I'm young and like pretty fit and stuff. I was running 6 miles a day before this. Fuck you, Corona.
Word.
Now I can like hardly like walk 2 blocks. I'm like, I have an inhaler. It's cute.
By the way, okay, so I mentioned this on the intro on the top of Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Oh yeah, which I don't know about yet.
But did I see you at the gym the other day?
No, like town.
Are you sure? That's really was not you.
Everyone says this, which is like
no way. That's not you. Oh my God, that's so funny. I thought that I've seen you at least 3 times. No.
That's so funny. You know what is funny? So I'm about to call you out. You have never matched with me and I've seen you before until recently. I see you on Raya for years.
No, wait, what do you mean you've seen me on there for
What
years?
do you mean?
No, seriously.
Well, you probably didn't match with me because I lived in LA. I'm telling myself that.
So I had a girlfriend for about a year, so I didn't use Raya for like a year.
You didn't know you were still on it.
I didn't know that.
That's kind of rich. I love that.
So like, but I didn't have the app. I had no idea. So maybe you're referring to that.
That was
up to what? Go ahead.
That's a thing that's happened to me before, and it makes you look like a sketchy cheat.
So I didn't.
But luckily, I didn't even know you had a girlfriend. So I was like, okay. It actually made me more attracted to you. I was like, why won't he? I was like, we both have podcasts in the making.
I feel bad, but also, you know, like, I mean, what am I gonna do?
Also, I lived in LA, so I was like, it would just be funny if I like visited.
No, but I
had no idea.
You've said that we've met before, and like, I'm not 1,000% sure.
I'm not sure
you do look very familiar, obviously, besides the gym. Besides
that my doppelganger.
That is nuts that's not you. That's crazy.
I want to see, is she hot? Like,
I mean, it's a mask. Yeah, she's very cute. She's blonde, looks exactly like you. Like I have not seen her eyes really, but she was hitting the treadmill for like a long time. That's something I would do too. Exactly. And she loved the color pink. And I love your pink. Instagram, you have like, okay, there's no shot that this is not you.
Dude, I swear on my life, I've not been to a gym since
All right, well, I'll just see you tomorrow morning, and I'll just go up to you and be like,
yeah, go up to me. And then literally she's gonna be like, can I get a restraining order?
God.
Wait, which gym do you go to?
I'm gonna be like, so when's our second date? Well, I don't want to.
Then you're gonna end up dating this girl.
I don't want to say it on the pod since we know. Whatever.
Oh wait, it's Equinox.
I go to Blink, like Equinox's poor cousin. What?
Blake?
You don't know what Blink is?
Oh, Blink.
Yes, it's like it costs like $30 a month. It's amazing. It's clean.
Good to know.
So you're not familiar.
Wait, that's actually great to know though for the future.
Yeah, there you go. Well, now you're gonna stalk me at the gym.
Now I'm gonna follow you. I'm also gonna look for my doppelganger and say, bitch, there can only be one of us.
Yeah, stop.
There's too many of us for this town. I'm the pink runner.
6 mile runner. That's like
I'm the 6 mile pinky.
That's verbatim what you had said to me that like I had thought that was you.
No, that was
the colors. I'm slightly shocked that
well, first of all, I can't run 6 miles right now because like I literally like can hardly breathe talking and walking. But I've been doing like Melissa Wood Health, everyone their mom has who's like from New York City and LA at this point. But I've been doing that because it's very like slow and there's a lot of stretching incorporated and it's kind of like yoga Pilates. I like to say when I'm telling people about it.
Is that like one of those apps that the people use? Sorry, I'm plugging in my little computer here.
Your little computer?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's an online workout thing. So I've mostly been doing those and then I was running outside as well on Sunset when I lived in LA and then in the park when I was at my parents' and now I guess I would have done the river but like haven't gotten the chance. So yeah.
What's your favorite episode of your podcast that has happened?
Yes, you did ask.
And you have what, like 20 episodes now?
I know, which is so fucking crazy. Yeah, I count them every time like a psychopath because I don't like putting the numbers in it. Because I don't know, it feels weird, especially if it's like the 13th. I don't want people to be like, ooh, you know, like,
right.
I don't know.
My birthday was on Friday the 13th, and I had a great day.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, I'm
2020
happy
too.
for you. Although, you know, people were saying, you're 22?
No, I said, I didn't say that, but I said something that
I
sounded
know.
like
Well,
that.
I also know you're
I
not
forget
22.
what I said. Yeah,
But
not
I would have
22.
liked the joke.
Just, okay, yeah, I could
You're
be.
22.
That
yeah,
was 7 years ago, yes. Go ahead.
It's better you're not 22. I'm really done with younger guys. So again, might have left this virtual date like the bitch I am.
Oh, yeah, I
kidding.
think I said, I listened to that one too.
Oh.
No, I definitely 13. Didn't say that. But anyway, what's your favorite episode?
Okay.
Of What the Fuck's Up podcast. By the way, I introduced it on the top, but just so you guys remember, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and do you film it at all or not right now?
I do. I'm working on doing a YouTube page, but it's like in the making. The thing is, even if I film it, so I do a lot of like on my page, I do a lot of like just kind of like I don't know, teaser type things that are like a few minutes. Like I did that with Lindsay's episode, but I like there's some episodes that there's some guests that it's really hard for. Like even some of my more famous guests aren't that used to like long form interview. So for them and for their sake and for my sake and the flow's sake, like there's a little more involved editing, you know? So for them, I probably wouldn't put those up, but with people where it's like flow, it's funny, there's very like minor editing, I'd like, be so down to put those up.
Which one should I listen to that have? I listen to Lindsay Metzelaar.
You obviously listened to Dylan's.
I did, and I listened to a little bit of the Dylan Palladino episode. You guys had a lot of sexual tension. It was hilarious.
Did we? I did not think so. And
I thought so.
No, I think we're just good friends at this point who have done things with each other, which is actually like a beautiful thing. I've been talking to people about that. I'm like, everyone should do this. Like,
what? Wait, what do you mean?
Hook up with someone, then be like, we should never hook up again, be friends. Because like now
that's really hard to do, I feel.
I know, but so for me, it's not for him. Like, God love him. Like, I'm actually so glad we're friends now. But like, I think we both felt this, which is I think why he did what he did. But like, I think we were like, we're both hot, we can hook up, like whatever. But like, I really don't think we were like long-term compatible in a lot of ways. And I think we both kind of sensed that, but we're like, this is, you know, whatever, this is fun. And I kind of was like down to keep it going, not because I wanted to like end up dating him, but because I was like, this is like a cool guy who I have fun banter with. Like I was more attracted to the banter than the actual like sexuality of it, if that makes sense. So basically we did hook up, we didn't have sex, which you can hear about in Dylan's episode, which is called We Are All Psychos, especially Caitlin. Anyways, because his podcast is called We're All Psychos. But basically, the reason I really love having him as like someone I can go to now is, first of all, he's a very like nice, honest person, even though he has fuckboy tendencies when he's like dating you. But secondly, like now when he says certain things to me, like we actually cut it out of the episode because it got like a little too graphic, and I was like, this is just next level. But at one point he was like, you have great tits, Caitlin, you have great tits. I was just like thank you. I now no longer have a dad. But
wait, is he your favorite episode though? Is that what people should listen to?
One of them. I think I've gotten a lot of feedback saying it's one of the strongest episodes, which is so funny because no preparation went into it. I basically had recorded with my friend Sadie and all her audio got fucked for the second time. She's the only one I've ever had audio issues with, so I don't know what the universe is like trying to say. But anyways, so I literally like reached out to Dylan, was like panicking because I fell behind on recording with Corona, but I've made up for it the past few weeks, so that's good. But so I literally reached out. I was like, Dylan, I know you know what this is like you're a podcaster. Do you mind just like recording last minute in like an hour on like Tuesday? And he's like, yeah. And then I put it out Thursday morning. So
nice.
Yeah, so it was very last minute, but that kind of made it like super natural. I think people responded to it well because I was very explicit on it.
Very vulnerable for sure.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I have already been so vulnerable on the podcast about certain things. Like, you'd think, by the way, I talk about my mother now, like that I was always open about that. I really wasn't until like post-college, like, because there still is, like, I think it's getting a lot better, but there still is a lot of like, it's been hard actually starting to get more in the public eye with that, because I do feel as if some people judge my like outgoingness or my theatricality, is that a word? Theatrical nature, by being like, oh, you're manic because your mom's manic. And I'm like, that's literally so fucked up. Like my aunt actually tried to pull that on me, and I was like, see yourself out. Because yeah, I mean, I have a host of my own issues. I have anxiety. I have had eating issues in the past, which
Do you smoke weed?
about. I don't smoke weed because it makes my anxiety bad. Well, sometimes I'll occasionally smoke weed. Like I'll smoke weed if I'm with people smoking weed, but I would never like buy my own pot, you know? I'd much rather do an upper.
Right. People, I feel like people for the most part, I feel like people for the most part who get anxious when they smoke weed like to maybe smoke it more so alone than rather than with people, so they don't feel like
out of control. Weird. I'm the total opposite. Because then if I'm with people, I'm like, how are they reacting? Are they slightly anxious? Like, and then like I do a little, or I'll just like do a puff to feel cool.
Right. Well, that's how it starts.
And I get high so easily now. I actually dated a stoner beginning of college. And it was like, I think that's part of the reason I didn't like it. And like, I'm not saying this is true of all stoners. And like, I'm so here to like kind of roast him because he's kind of annoying. But he did do this thing where like all he would do every night, it was such a, like a college like frat bro thing, was he would just like smoke weed at his apartment every night. Like we literally never went on fun dates or did cool things. It was just like smoke weed at my apartment, smoke weed at my apartment.
That's like a true stoner.
I know, but I'm not. I'm such an adventurous person. Like I love trying new things, new restaurants, new like, you know.
Right.
I kind of, but I was like a freshman in college, and he was like all I knew, and his friends. So I was like, this is cool, and my friends thought it was cool. I was dating him. So we would do that every night, and then we'd just have like the most mediocre high sex. Like, and so
people say it's supposed to make it better. I think maybe one side,
if you have it with the right person, maybe. I think like this also speaks to us just not being compatible sexual partners, but like literally it was just like really like high confused sex, and then like we'd fall asleep.
Do you believe in do you believe in the sign, the horoscope sign?
Oh yeah, which is so funny because I really like was such a New Yorker about this shit. I actually always joke about this like on the podcast and with my friends. I'm like, I'm forever going to be cursed because I'm going to be like to New York for LA and to LA for New York. Like I'd be in LA and I'd be like, that's fucking bullshit. And everybody'd be like, "Ooh, why did she say that was bullshit? That was so aggressive." I'm like, what? It is. Like, you know, like I'm just like
like a New Yorker, right?
Yeah, like a New Yorker. Like, what the fuck's she doing? She's being a bitch. And everyone's like, what? We don't say that in front of each other. I'm like, whatever, stupid and bitchy. So like I'd be like too like outgoing and like upfront sometimes for LA people, not like all the time, but like sometimes. Or like I would just like talk like a psychopath, because I kind of like, I always joke that like I'm craziest when you first meet me and then like actually become normal.
Right.
As opposed to
I'd say throughout this date you've become more normal. See,
I'm telling you, that's what happened.
Many minutes ago we started.
That's how it works.
Wait, also side note, I mentioned that I didn't take a shot before this date. Did you take a shot, or is that your first glass of wine?
No, this is my first glass.
Your first glass?
Yeah, my
you're doing swimmingly. You don't seem awkward at all. I said on the top of the episode, I was like, this could be awkward, this could be bad, could be good. I think it's going very
it's going great. I'm glad you did a temperature check there, Ted Jones.
Yeah, well, before I fully knew that I didn't see you at the gym, I was also nervous too. I was also like, this, like, what happens if this is like such an awkward date? I spill the beans that I go to gym at a certain time every morning. Could this get awkward? Is she going to stalk me? No.
That's
I feel like
funny.
that doesn't.
I looked at that question.
Happen, but it's got it. That this has got to happen though. Seriously, like for guys to like stalk women, like that. If the roles were reversed and you were me and you asked me if this was,
it's a double standard. You're saying?
You know what I mean? Well, I don't mean to. I don't mean to. Put I don't want to say like something like that on the airwaves, being like, oh yeah, like guys could easily stalk girls like that. But like, I don't. It's definitely a thought. It's
Just
definitely a thought.
Spit it out, Teddy. Spit it out.
No, it's a thought. I was just like, well, what if this doesn't go well? And then it was you at the gym, and then
and then you always have to see me at the gym.
Yes,
I understand.
Right.
Well, lucky for you, it wasn't me.
Right. Luckily, I don't have to see you at the gym.
Ends up
I was like, this is
south,
my temple. This is my temple. What are you doing here?
Well, I also hated that. So that was another thing, like going back to like the LA, New York stuff. Mm-hmm. So I was part of Equinox, like pre-corona in LA, like the West Hollywood one. And everyone there, I swear to God, like not everyone, but like 80% of people there are there to be seen. So it's like these little hoes, like insane. Pulling up. Well, ho's the wrong word. I say ho, like empowering, like yes, ho, but like I'm not like, that's not my vibe, but like you do
all these women.
Not like, well, not like she's sleeping with a ton of people. She's just like kind of getting her hoe on. Like she has her like really small
belly
little
shirt.
Like,
okay.
Yeah, belly top and like her matching set, and she's got her makeup all did, and she's like doing like small crunches and then like
pictures in the mirror.
Exactly, you know. And then like all the guys are just like lifting weights, like looking at either other guys or girls. And it's just so funny because and everyone's doing that. And then I'm like doing like interval running and like literally sweating my tits off and like wearing like my old kind of ripped because I was walking a dog and fell like leggings and like my like old sorority shirt that's like a little too big on me. And everyone's just like, did you not get the like invite? Like this is actually like
interesting.
You're coming a bit too casual.
Do you think that well, have you been to the equinoxes in New York? Because like I've definitely heard the same kind of thing from my friends who
but
it's in New York.
Not as bad because this is the thing. Like I was in West Hollywood Equinox. This was
That's like prime, like tool area.
Exactly. Like it was right next to where they filmed / The Office for Selling Sunset. Like that's the vibe of the girl going in, and the vibe of the guy going in is like, I'm an actor model. So it's just like all around, and I'm like,
and sidely work in real estate, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like works in real estate, and then like has money that you're like, are you doing something under the table? Like, let's be honest.
Well, I mean, there's so many, you know what? There's really so many avenues to make money these days virtually. You can do OnlyFans. You can do TikTok.
OnlyFans.
You can drop off Amazon.
First example. You're like,
I'm talking about in terms of LA people.
Oh, sorry. Wait 1 second. The food's here. This is a very genuine moment, y'all.
Caitlin, actually, go ahead, get your food. Caitlin didn't talk. I'll just talk while you're off screen getting your food. Caitlin was like, all right, just so you know, I have food coming. So like 30 minutes or however many minutes we are into this little date, the food is coming. So this is like an authentic date, except I'm just here drinking water. Also, I don't know what you ordered. Hopefully
I told him he could leave it at my door, but knowing these, like all the delivery guys, I always tell them just leave it at the door, and then it's knock, 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 knock.
Right.
So we'll see.
I've had for the most part, I've liked that that exchange on like
Me
Uber
too,
Eats
because
and
we're
Seamless.
New Yorkers and we're like, don't.
Like, we're just drop it. It's fine. No doorbell. Do a knock, knock. Okay, what did you order also?
It was so long ago. I'm like, I forgot it was coming.
I'm a vegan, by the way. I figured
I'm vegetarian.
I'd tell you that. So does that mean you eat cheese?
Yeah.
Or no? Okay.
And eggs. I love cheese and eggs. Sorry.
Okay. People do love cheese and eggs.
Are you like, wait, I have a real question.
Sure. Real question? Oh my God. Go ahead.
As opposed to a fake one.
Okay.
Are you an aggressive vegan or just like a normal vegan?
I'm not like pushing anyone to becoming vegan. I can sit with people who eat meat, but go ahead.
I was at this thing in Brooklyn. This was a while ago now. This was like maybe like August or so. And basically it was another outdoor like thing in Brooklyn, but this one was really small because it was like my friend Katrina, who I've been with a lot, like consistently, her girlfriend from Cornell basically is like pseudo dating, but not dating, which is a whole other story. This guy who is like an aggressive vegan. And so it was just like the weirdest. It ended up being a birthday party and nobody told me. Mm-hmm. And I came and there were 5 people there, which is like very CDC safe. But the fact that I was like one of his top 5 was like a little alarming. So
Go ahead.
So first he pretended to know me, which was like red flag number 1 of like 100. He like was like, you. I was like, who are you? Like, I was just like, I wasn't trying to be bitchy. I was just genuinely confused because he tried to like give me this big old hug. I'm like, there's a pandemic and like, I don't know you.
Right.
And he's like, well, this is my house and it's my birthday. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't think we've met. And he's like, oh, you just looked familiar, and like kind of like cuffed
Right.
off.
See, I had the same issue. Go ahead though. Sorry.
Anyway, so that happens. And then he ends up like, so it was outside, but like, you know, he had the door open to his apartment in case people want to use the bathroom and stuff. So I got up to go to the bathroom.
Gentlemen.
He is playing vegan murder porn. I don't know how else to describe it. I literally walk by the TV and it's vegan blasting. Yeah. That's how I would describe it. Yeah.
So he just had, well, I mean, I assume
he had it playing in the background.
Animals dying, like getting
animals dying. It was like, and then the chicken sits on top, the other dead chicken's carcass in the cold.
He's passionate, this guy.
Yeah, but like, it's one thing to be passionate. It's another thing to be like, borderline serial killer vibes at your own birthday party.
True. You know, was it a fun birthday? Was this in New York?
Yes, this was in Brooklyn.
Oh, so, yeah. Right. We will consider that part of it. That could potentially happen.
Yeah, it was very Brooklyn. It was very Williamsburg vibes, but I like totally called him out. His girlfriend was like dying because she like definitely like, or girlfriend, I don't know. They gotta figure some shit out.
Yeah.
But she was dying because she was like definitely judges him for it, but is like too scared to say anything. So she was like, don't, but like, oh my God, she's so right. You know, like
how long had he been vegan for?
Like his whole life. But he's one of those people like I don't fucking know the guy. Like a while, clearly. He's in his 30s and like it'd been at least 10 years, it seemed. Which I've been vegetarian for 10 years actually.
Oh wow. Okay. So by vegetarian, what is it? What is the actual definition of vegetarian? Like what do you meat. Okay, well okay, so you won't have chicken, turkey, or steak.
No, right. I have broken it because like I don't do it as, it's an interesting story actually. Did he actually leave my door? I guess he did. Anyways, but I am someone, I remembered what I ordered. It's so basic. I ordered Amber.
So sushi?
Yeah, it's like such basic like New York sushi that I get growing up. I just like didn't know what to do. And I was like, and there are all these foods I can't eat now because of like the COVID diet or long haulers post-COVID diet. So I was like, I'll just get fucking like edamame and like a fucking roll or whatever the fuck. Anyways, so the reason I became vegetarian, which is a lot of people assume when I say I'm vegetarian, kind of the way I like pseudo assumed, but not really with you. They assume like I'm very like, we can only go to vegetarian or vegan restaurants. I'm going to push it on you. And like, that's very much not my vibe at all. Like I can always make something work unless we're going to like a steakhouse or like some places in Paris where they're like
Outback Steakhouse is a no. Right.
Yeah.
I hear you.
But I basically became it because my parents are like super like, I was about to say super into meat and I was like, that sounds weird. Anyways.
Well, they hopefully are. Me. Hopefully they are.
My mom, no, I can't say that. Cut that. Anyways, so yeah, they love like steak though. They always make that or like, I don't know, lobster or whatever when they're hosting. And like, I just was so not down. And I think it was like, there was like, I was the kid that instead of like having to force me to eat like the green beans and the broccoli, like I would only eat that and they'd be like, please eat the chicken or the steak. And I was like, I don't know.
Wait, for ethical reasons as a kid?
I think, I mean, I've always loved animals so much. And I think it was subconsciously for that reason, but not consciously, if that makes sense. Like I wasn't like going out of my way to be like, yeah, like don't kill the animals. But I was just like, it felt, I couldn't really get over it to an extent. And I did get over it for a while because there was like a period where I was like older, but not, like 10 to like 16. But there were certain meats I was just like really not interested in. And fish, like the whole, which from the Dylan X episode maybe, the whole texture grossed me out. Like still to this day, like I've tried to try fish. I actually weirdly, like, I tried tuna, like raw tuna. I kind of liked that more because it just tasted like the sauce versus like salmon. Like, I can't. Or like escargot, like, and I
don't even know
love
what
salt.
escargot is. I
It's
like a good salmon.
literally
I eat fish, so I'm like a pescatarian, not like
so
fully vegan.
interesting. So
Yeah,
you're pescatarian
occasionally.
vegan.
Sure. Yes.
Would you eat eggs?
No.
Why fish but not eggs? I must know. Because fish is good for you.
Well, I'd say that I think the
I'm
chicken.
on my second glass.
I think second glass of wine.
Yeah, you're
Pour it
getting
up,
me
girl.
drunk while you're sober.
So
Me too.
I'd say that like the chicken and the egg are very closely related, as you would think. And I just don't trust eating. I don't trust eating eggs and like not eating chicken. So like
you're
fish, I think you could catch it. What do you mean? Like
for the
sure.
chicken.
No, yes, of course. Everybody should have their choice. I'm for sure pro.
No, I said pro. No, pro-life is the opposite of pro-choice.
Oh wait. Well, I mean, I'm for people like. You know what I mean? Like I'm
I do,
pro-choice.
It's funny
Jesus,
because
you confused me there. Can you imagine?
It's very confusing because pro-life sounds.
And I'm a member of Planned Parenthood too, by the way. So like that.
Well, maybe cut that.
Go ahead.
Well, it's confusing because pro-life sounds like, oh, you want everyone to like live, and it sounds good, but it means you don't have the choice over whether you're born.
Right. You don't support abortion.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is so fucked up.
But,
they pro non-death.
So I support catching fish. I mean, I know the way that they catch fish. I really don't eat fish too much. I should probably stop eating it as much as I do. Like I don't eat tuna out of a can anymore.
Well, tuna out of a can also smells horrible.
Yeah,
so.
it's like cat food.
Disgusting.
I'll eat salmon or whatever at a restaurant. I'll have sushi occasionally, but sushi used to be one of my favorite foods. So like that is something that like
so you're straight.
I'll dip in. Yes.
Did you just hear that?
Yes.
Amazing. I've never tried sushi.
What?
I know, it's crazy.
Just like
there are a lot of things I've never tried.
The sliminess of fish was just like spooking you.
I can't. There's something about the texture and the smell of fish. Like my friend was here last night and we like picked up stuff from Foragers. My guy friend Brandon,
what's that supermarket? Right?
Yeah. And he picked up salmon, and it literally, like, I smelled it and I was like, oh my God, did like Delilah, my new dog, like shit somewhere? I was like, what is this smell? I was like, is her food spilled? Like, I was like, it smells. And I realized, I didn't say anything out loud, thank God, but I was like, realized it was his salmon. I was like, ugh. Because I know it's so good for you and it's like omega-3s or whatever, but like, woof.
No, to each his own, or each her own.
To each her own, babe.
So I feel like I've been asking you so many. I feel like I've been asking you so many questions. You haven't really asked me any questions. You even know me?
It is technically. I don't. I know your tennis.
It is technically my podcast. Yeah. So everyone listening kind of.
Should I just use this as my episode too?
I don't know. You know. Wait. Oh, so I'm invited back to the second episode. I don't know. Are we doing a second date?
I'm down.
Second date is on your podcast. I embarrassed myself
and like send you something
with the seeing you at the gym.
That was embarrassing.
Regret that slightly. Oh,
why?
I don't know. I was just like, that was a weird thing because I was
This is why you take shots before.
I was exactly.
You're cute, and I don't give a fuck.
Sure.
I'm like, whatever. The only thing that I do take offense to with that is that there's some hoe walking around the streets of Chelsea trying to pull off my look and my pink, because that's my thing. And there can only be one of us. The town's too small.
Right. Right. You know what? But it does extend. I'd say it extends from like, I guess 6th Avenue to 10th Avenue. It's like it's relatively big in terms of neighborhoods in New York City, maybe.
Not big enough for two.
Yeah, not big enough for two blondes who love the color pink. That's for sure.
Definitely. Well, it depends what type of blonde. If it's like a fake blonde.
Right. Yeah. No, she looks like real blonde. What'd you do this weekend besides the date podcast?
Besides the date podcast. I had 2 brunches yesterday, which is like, do I get an award for being basic or also my friend who I did it with, we were literally so serious. So I don't think I'm necessarily some people would disagree, like basic, but I have some basic tendencies that like I lean fully into.
Like what?
And I don't like brunch. Like
Well,
brunch is
okay, so brunch, Chardonnay, or is that Chardonnay or Sauvignon Blanc?
Chardonnay. So
Either
which
one
is
of
a little
those two,
better.
though.
I think
Yeah,
so.
but Chardonnay.
No, Sauvignon and Pinot Grigio are worse.
Okay, and then Amber too. So that's 3.
Okay, but I haven't ordered from Amber since I was like 16.
Equinox. Right. Okay, but
I'm not a member of Equinox.
Amber, what's your, so what are your basic tendencies then if they're not those?
I'm just defending all of them. Online shopping is therapy.
Okay, yes. Oh my God,
Extremely basic. Loving getting my nails done and like the back massages there. Brunch, romantic comedies.
Nice.
Like liking dogs as a personality trait. I don't know. I'd say those are the main ones.
Do you play sports or anything?
I'm very athletic.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I play sports. I always was better
right.
at, like,
It's also like when you're old, like
Yeah.
I don't want to say old, but like when you're in your 20s.
Are you calling me old?
I feel like if someone asks you like, do you
Date's
play
canceled.
sports? It's like,
You're like, what do
I
you
play
mean?
sports? Like,
No, but growing up,
occasionally.
I mean, so see, now I'm just gonna sound bougie, but my parents have a house in Millbrook and we have a tennis court there. So I like
Fancy.
dabble in tennis, if you will.
Okay.
I used to do track and field, which is why I still run, which is kind of like an everyman for himself or herself sport, which is why I fucked with it.
Right.
Because I don't like the anxiety part of me, like really, I played soccer too pretty competitively, but like, well, for going to an all-girl school, let's like refine that statement. Like I was never gonna like play soccer in college. I was like, I'm gonna act and call it a day.
Oh, by the way, I played tennis at UConn, by the way, for 2 years. Nice. 2.5 years, but sorry, I just didn't mean to interrupt you, but like I stopped because they started like drug testing a ton, and like
I'm not gonna
I'd rather smoke weed than be on the tennis team. Seriously, that's what happened. Okay, go ahead.
I love your priorities. We stand.
Insane.
That's so funny. I like that story, but yeah, I don't know. I did soccer for a bit. I got injured a ton, but like not from soccer, from being a klutz. Like I had a lot of concussions. So it's like very happy that I don't have brain damage.
How did you get a lot of concussions? Not from sports.
Like stupid shit.
Just like falling.
Like running and falling.
Okay.
Hitting my head laughing on a chair. That was the worst one.
That's a funny injury, I guess. No, it's not.
It was kind of funny.
It could hurt, but like, okay.
It was funny, minus the fact that I had brain swelling for 3 months. I'm really good at hurting myself. Like really, like I would say, like if you could put that on your resume, I feel like I would do it. Like I would have like a really bad case of corona. You know what I mean? Okay. It's like my body at once is like really good at getting things and also pretty good at fighting it off. But like I'm always like getting like, you know, I'm like that person who has like 8,000 scars on my knee and people are like, how'd you get those? I'm like, well, which time?
Right. And you have just like a bizarre story. I kind of had like,
it's because I'm clumsy.
Yeah. Like in the past like 5 years, I've had weird like health ailments where I can't really
explain them.
Yeah. So like it whether it's like arthritis or just like swelling or, you know, inflammation, whatever.
Sounds like me right now,
like,
dude.
Yeah. But I mean, at least you didn't have corona that bad, though. It doesn't sound like
I had it really bad.
Experiencing it, really. It was just for a few days, right?
No, I think.
So how long was it?
Huh? I had it. I'm dead. I'm roasting you on your own podcast.
Yeah, whatever. Go ahead. I was listening to you. You said a week. You said 6 days.
You were like, I mean. A week is 7 days.
No, but you said you had it for like a week, 6 days, 7 days.
7 days, but I still have the symptoms, which is why I've gone to 3 doctors this week. Really? So I still have shortness of breath, swelling, aches in my muscles. I'm trying to think of what else, like headaches. That's also why I'm drinking slowly. Cause like, well, first of all, I don't need alcohol to be cool. Like I'm cool. Anyways, but so I'm like, let me just flex that. But also because if I have like more than 2 glasses, like yesterday, you asked me what I did this weekend. Yesterday I was at 2 brunches.
First or second brunch?
Well, second brunch we started drinking and I had like 3 mimosas. And to be fair, like mimosas do have champagne, which the bubbles do make you hungover, but like I was hungover within 2 glasses, which sucked.
Really?
So I have to be careful. Yeah, because it's just like, I don't know. I think it's like you're already so dehydrated because your body's like, the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
That like, like, what are you doing? That, and also, well, that's the other thing. That's why the Corona diet exists, because it's basically like, I forgot what it is. It's like something about like.
You can't taste too if you were like going to be eating a ton. Like you can't.
No, I can taste.
No, I'm just saying like maybe one would get fat like because they can't taste anything.
Oh, no. People who can't taste anything get really skinny and like anorexic.
Right. I could.
Yeah, I actually have a friend. She still can't taste, and like she has horrible like eating issues in the past, and now she's lost like 40 pounds. But it's also like she literally can't gain it back. Well, the thing is, okay, the thing I will say about my weight gain, so people don't think I'm just like a full-on like puffball, is like I can tell because I'm me and I'm like very self-critical as a person. I don't think if you saw me on the street, you'd be like, she's a heavy girl.
Or running on the treadmill. Absolutely not. No.
Well, but that's the thing. Even though I've gained like 10 pounds, it's all very clearly like water inflammation. So it's almost like someone when they get their period, but like for 6 weeks. So it's like, but it's just the main thing is I hate it because I'm a perfectionist and I was in like dope shape right before this. And it's so annoying to me because it's not like I'm like eating a ton. That's why I'm getting it. I actually don't really have an appetite. It's like my body's literally like protect, So it's like, So people are like, oh, just go on a diet. I'm like, bitch, it's not about the diet. It's about, I have to take a diuretic to like pee out the water that my body
Are you feeling better like every day, kind of like getting your breath back or a little bit, or not really?
No, it's like there's on and off days. Today's been pretty good. So that's good. Yeah, they're really on and off days based on what you eat, how much exercise you do. Like sometimes when I'm like getting overly like confident about like walking the dog or like meeting people for brunch, like yesterday I had a moment where I like hit a wall and I was just like, I was actually gonna go out with my friend and last night and I was like, my feet hurt so badly. Yeah, like I was like, it's kind of like arthritis, honestly, where I was like, I literally like, I feel like I'm pushing myself too hard because we kind of like, we walked from like place to place and like walked around a little bit and like, I don't know. So it was just like more walking than new fucked up me is used to. And like, it really took it out of me. So it's like, because I rested up last night and had like a pretty chill day, like I feel fine today, but it's just like, it's really like moment to moment, like day to day, I would say.
Okay. So before I actually have to go and drop an episode for tomorrow, I have to edit and drop episode 64.
What a like dark note to end on.
No, well, I didn't mean to. I wanted to ask you a question, actually. Yeah. What do you think is the best quality about yourself? Before we end on it, I didn't want to end on a dark note.
Yeah, seriously, like
no, but I have to edit this thing, and we got this podcast. So we got a lot going on. Even though this is the only date podcast episode that I have ever done.
I have to say, even though you said it was a date podcast, I think there were date elements to it, but I think I treated it more like an interview.
I think you did treat it more so like an interview. But granted,
we can try again on my podcast.
There'll be right. There'll be
when I'm in control. Maybe I'll be better. Right. Yeah, yeah. That sounds like about
kind
right.
of an interview date. But so what do you think? What's the best part about yourself? Would you say that would make me want to go on a second date with you?
I'm trying to think. Like I like There's a lot of things about myself. I know. I think. To make it a little vulnerable, but true, I think I've been through a good amount, but I also am like an extremely like positive person. And I think everything I've been through has like, I think I'm a very reflective person and intelligent person, and everything I've been through has made me work on myself because I'm not someone who like can't take feedback and can't, grow and change, so to speak. So I don't know. I think this year, like I learned a lot about myself. I think I'm in the best like space I've ever been in. And like, I really like love myself. I'm kind of cool as fuck. And like, I might be crazy sometimes, and I might be like super outgoing and like tell people exactly what I think. But like, as opposed to before, like when people would criticize that and I was like, oh, they're probably right. Now I'm like, you have your own issues,
right,
you know?
totally.
So I think I just really own my shit these days. And not in an aggressive way, but like, I don't know. I think I've been single now for almost 3 years, which is wild, after a 3.5 year relationship.
Oh, wow. That's long.
And yeah, and it was like tough because, as you kind of heard, he cheated on me and all this stuff. But like, I think I've really learned a lot about myself in that time. And I think a lot of me being single had to do with the fact I was in LA, because I was like, I cannot date an actor model. It's just not gonna fucking, you know, like there's one thing, there's also an LA versus a New York, like actor, so to speak. Anyways, but like, it gave me a lot of time to like work on myself and like, I don't know. I just think I'm pretty cool is basically what I'm saying.
Working on yourself and thinking you're pretty cool are like two things that go hand in hand. You know what I mean? And I'd say that's great. Well said. So before again,
I actually want to ask you the same question.
Yes.
It's not an interview. It's a date.
Me? You want to ask me what? So you're asking me the same question that I just asked you?
Yeah.
What's the best thing about me right now? Or, well, I'd say, you know what? I want to quote you and say that I'm working on myself, which is a good quality to have as a human. Everybody should be working on themselves every day. Yeah. And I've slowly learned not to really care what other people say.
Which is hard.
Especially when, like us too, we have the podcast that people are listening to and maybe grilling people. Yeah. Yes. Very vulnerable up here, especially at first date.
It is. But I think this is a great episode, and I think people will respond well to it because of the vulnerability. And I'm a little lower energy than I normally am, because I'm honestly kind of tired. Yeah, I'm usually like, woo, like, hi, like, hello.
You seemed like it though. You had a great amount of energy. So what's the best Instagram to catch you at, and then also like plug everything just so peeps on the Ted Jones World podcast here can find you.
Yes. Oh my God. So funny being on the other end of this. So my personal handle is at CKNY1213. I can't speak. I'm going to try that again. CKNY1213. Just lost my voice a little bit. I am born 1209, but my friend who made it for me in middle school when I was trying to impress a boy and change my, it wasn't my Instagram handle at the time. It was like my AOL screen name, and it was Yellow Puppy 1122. So she was like, that's not hot. You have to change that. I was like, you're so right. That's so embarrassing, because it was like 6th grade now. And I'm like, gotta graduate. So I changed it, and I was like, what do I do? What do I do? He's asking me on a date. He's asking me like my AOL screen name, whatever. And she's like, make it CKNY 1209. It was like, or sorry, 1213. I was like, yes. And then people kept being like, is your birthday 1213? I was like, no. And then I was like, but you know what? It sounds better, so I'm not going to change it.
It does.
So I've just leaned in. It's kind of become part of my identity. I have like I have this CKNY sign up here. It's not lit up right now because backlighting's like not cute. But so I have that. I have a necklace of it. Just really leaned in. And then my Instagram podcast handle, where you can find a lot of memes about how guys suck and Trump sucks, is at WTF SUPPOD, SUPPOD. And yeah, you can also like Google me for random shit. Like, beware though, you're gonna find some weird ass shit, but go for it.
Yeah, but like nothing incriminating, I suppose.
No, just
right.
Like,
you know what? I haven't. I briefly Googled you. I didn't go into like the second and third page. You know what I mean?
I honestly didn't Google you, but now I'm going to.
Oh, great.
Just so we're on even footing.
Right. Okay.
And then I'll show up at your gym.
So I'll see you. I'll see you next time. And rate, comment, subscribe. Rate, comment, subscribe. This is great, Caitlin. Thank you so much. And we'll talk soon. All right.
We'll talk soon. Bye.
Bye.